So when looking at alt seasons, it's important to realize that you can look at it from a Bitcoin perspective and a US dollar perspective. And many, of course, will look at the potential upside of an altcoin in terms of their Bitcoin value. But it's important to take into account the US dollar as well. If I go back to this chart, it actually shows that this only shows me the US dollar value of a certain coin. And you can also see that even though we did have a really nice December pump, it means that the dominance of Bitcoin cannot just drop or decrease continuously. Otherwise, it would mean that the total dominance would get maybe as big as a large altcoin like Ethereum. That would be the flippening that everybody is talking about. But it seems so far quite unlikely, taking into account that Bitcoin is king until proven otherwise. So when looking at the US dollar price, let's mark the alt seasons again. And we put the value of Bitcoin on top. Then of course you can see that these alt seasons were running with a relative low Bitcoin. Take into account that I marked the Bitcoin price in a logarithmic scale. So here you can see that in the second quarter pump, the value of Bitcoin was running somewhere between $800 and $2,200 roughly. While in fact, during this last December pump, Bitcoin was running somewhere between 20,000 and 10,000, or let's say $8,000. So that also means that already the entire market cap of total crypto was already, let's say, increased by a factor of somewhere between 10 and 15, roughly. And that already inflated the market cap of altcoins significantly. Some things to show as major difference between this December pump. As shown, it was already making parabolic moves towards 20,000. But that also implies that, taking into account the previous alt season of the second quarter, at December, many of the alts were already at, above, or running close to their US dollar all-time high. And that's also something to take into account, because market caps cannot just increase without any limitation, in a sense that they cannot just grow to $3 trillion just out of nowhere. There is always, let's say, a psychological limit to where coins can grow. And most of the time, it's already the all-time high that was perceived or at least achieved before. So it suggests that the alt's value in Bitcoin potentially would have less upside because it would inflate the market cap. And also take into account that in December pump, the $20,000 all-time high followed by an enormous sell-off already indicated that this alt season or pump would not be as long as the one in the second quarter. Again, repeating or at least stressing that the Bitcoin is king until it is proven otherwise. Just to show a couple of examples to look at the potential of the altcoin's value, that it's important to look at the Bitcoin value and the dollar value. So this is Ethereum, fundamentally a strong coin. Many ICOs and coins are running on the Ethereum network, and what you can see is in that the alt season of 2017 second quarter, it had a major increase to an all-time high in Bitcoin, but also in US dollar. During the, let's say, rally of Bitcoin, you can also see that actually the value of Ethereum was increasing as well. So in the December pump, it did not only get to their Bitcoin all-time high value, but of course expressed in US dollar, it reached major highs, even crossing the $1,400. So it also emphasizes that fundamentally solid coins are more likely to break their all-time highs, whether in terms of US dollar or Bitcoin value, than coins that are fundamentally less strong. And to show, this is an example of Equitrader, and it nicely displays the difference between the two alt seasons in 2017. So in the first one, near the end of August, so that was at the quite at the end of the alt season, you can see an all-time high both in Bitcoin and dollar, while in December it actually reached the same or a little bit less than the all-time high expressed in dollars, but in Bitcoin wise, of course, thanks to the $20,000 Bitcoin, or the very high value of Bitcoin at that time, did not get as far. So that's something to take into account. Another one, Limit Coin, shows you exactly the same. All-time high Bitcoin dollar-wise in August as well, and then all-time high US dollar-wise, but nowhere near concerning Bitcoin.